Let's do it. Start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everybody. Let's go straight into consent. Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
A discussion, questions, anything you want pulled?
I'd like to discuss number 5,
Okay,
just surplus.
do you need it pulled or you wanna just discuss? Okay,
It doesn't need to be pulled.
anyone else?
Can we pull number 14?
Sure. We're not going to talk about any specific.
None.
Okay.
It,
All right.
You're saying you want to
I
speak
want to
about it
pull
in
it.
executive
sent
session?
to exec.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right. Howard, question?
Okay. Number 5 is surplus declaration of 163 DVDs to be accessed from the high school media library. Well, library media. First off, the form of it, the reason is not checked. It just, the reason, whether it's outdated, obsolete, and or in state of disrepair for any of them on the face of the form. That's just procedural, a problem with it. Number 2, why would we want to surplus 163 DVDs such as Apollo 11, The Lost Battalion with Veterans Day coming up, Korea, The Forgotten War, the complete season 1 of CSI from TV, and the Pearl Harbor movie called Tora, Tora, Tora. Let's remember that the public paid for these DVDs, and without any cause, why would we want to access them and not have them available for students, or at least donate them if you're going to access them to someplace that you might be interested in?
Yeah, and so we are donating them. That is the plan. But we can't donate anything unless it is accessed from the district. I'm not sure we even have,
That's correct.
we don't have anything to even play them. Like most of our computers don't even have DVD players anymore.
But they do sell the attachment that plugs in.
They do. But we can also access a lot of these on YouTube and other things. So they're taking up a lot of space. And so our plan is to donate the ones that are in good working order to the library.
The Millbrook Library?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's not in there. Just
Because
says-
we can't do anything.
I know you
We
can't,
can't
but
list
it
it for
said-
auction. We can't
I
do anything.
understand. Okay. I understood. Is anything being replaced with anything compatible that students can actually see, such as
Not in
going
physical form, but
nothing physical?
right,
just-
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. However, also, I know it, I'm being picky here, but this is a taxpayer funded item, every single one of these 163. And the form that was signed off by the principal, Mr. Sepp, does not say the reason why any of them are being accessed, other than we don't have a player currently for them.
Right, and so It is actually filled out. It says outdated, obsolete. That is typed
Oh,
in.
that is,
That's-
okay, it's not just, all right, outdated, obsolete, and or,
Yes.
okay, I thought one of them had to be checked.
Now, that is actually typed in. I
Okay.
think it's not a fillable form, so it's moving the line, which is why the top of it also looks funny.
Based upon these, your. As long as it's gonna be donated to the library where the public can access it.
Yeah, those that are
I have
in
no objection.
working
Yeah,
order,
those that,
right? If they're
not
scratched. then-
scratched, if those in working order, then I have no objection to it.
So then we're actually, am I understanding correctly? So the high school library won't have any DVDs anymore because there's not a way to play them.
Right,
Right, so it's not as if just this group, it's,
I mean, that's the majority of the DVDs that we would have.
Yeah.
I can't off the top of my head tell you that there's gonna be no DVDs.
Right, sure.
But
So I know in the high school, they do watch movies, like in the English class and stuff like that. So how are they gonna do that going forward if that's,
a lot of the time, those are like YouTube. We have subscriptions.
you can watch full movies?
Mhm.
Okay. Just curious.
We have iTunes, we have YouTube, we have a lot of different things that we can do.
But is that always in general, and I know you're not the the media specialist. Is that really a good idea to access some things that some of these may not be available on YouTube, although majority of things are.
Well, I think they also, like Kathy would also have the most accurate data on if these things are even.
Remember the December 2nd retreat with Pam we're gonna start it at 6, go an hour and a half. I think there's a bunch of things that we need to talk through. Hopefully that's not an issue for anybody. My final one, 12:20, I don't know.
That's right before the holiday. Yeah, we changed the calendar, so I just wanted to
Remind everybody that
that
the
it's
December
actually
meeting is
Monday.
Monday, not a Tuesday.
Yeah.
The 22nd.
Workshop.
Yeah, I'll change it on the calendar, yep.
What should we do on the, me? 13, I'll give you a, legislation, felon.
On the 19th, I'm going to the legislature. That's done in Thursday.
And then, the NISBA, I was gonna have you in business, but just thoughts in general on the.
Sure, I wasn't sure, I mean, I can give my takeaways, I wasn't sure if you want to wait till she was here, but I can. Give my. Just a few points, so, was another wonderful convention. I've been twice now, next year it's in Buffalo. And then, I just really wanted to start it, I don't know, say this enough, but really how proud I am of everyone in this room, our board and the admin and just our relationship, because I can't tell you how many sessions I was in whereby audience members, whether it was a superintendent or board members, just some of the questions they asked really, underscored that there was a level of conflict that we don't experience. And so I don't know if that makes us unique, but I think it makes us special. And so I just want to thank everybody. Because I totally, so, and the community should know that as well. The other, I attended one workshop, from, the leadership team with NISBA. And I haven't gone through this page by page, I've just skimmed it, but it's a blueprint for better school board operating procedures, and it's really interesting. So I'll kind of just pass it, we can order more from NISBA, and that's obviously more for probably board members, but, anyone else wants to take a look at it, I think it could probably, we're doing a lot of work of this already, but I think, we can probably, would help us become even more efficient and streamline something. And one interesting point, which I haven't thought about, was onboarding. The speakers spoke about onboarding new board members, and well, hopefully we'll never have to do it again. But in the rare chance that we do, the speaker was stating that their recommendation really is to start that at the candidate level. And so of course, a lot of us will not know, obviously, but Cheryl and even Carrie with the help of NISBA, when somebody declares that they would like to be a candidate, you can start at informally at that point.
And so we actually do that. As soon as someone, and you might remember or not from when you ran, I give an entire packet to anybody who comes to, fill out the form, they get a whole packet. And it has all the NISBA information in it. It has our local, groups who are also providing training for new board members. And then links to all of the NISBA, new board member information. So then give them a whole bunch of stuff.
Wonderful. And then, kind of my third takeaway was really about, it's a little bit of a pet peeve, even at this of mine, but just a personal, continuous improvement. But I always, that term, I was just like, there's not really a realistic, honestly, way, to continually improve, right? Like continued improvement, it seems more realistic to me. But anyway, in terms of whether we're monitoring our own growth on the board, or it's instruction, or it's admin, I don't mean personal growth, but departments or just different student achievement, whatever it may be. I know we hold ourselves to a very high standard. And in order to do that, it's important to, for all of us to get the resources that we need, or at least be upfront about what resources we need in order to make those improvements, right? So as a board, I think even we can think about if we need to make improvements, well, what resources are out there for us? And I think there's a lot of help from NISBA itself. We probably don't tap into that enough. I know okay, well, we have our retreat coming up. So that'll help. But even just district-wide, right? At least I think I'm speaking for the board, but if anyone else chime in, if we're ever seeking areas of improvement, or we also want to give you the resources to do that, or at least be able to be upfront about what you need, right? And in my mind, resources aren't just financial, and they're people, their labor, their knowledge, education. So I think we should all reflect.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think that's about it. There's other things, but you don't want me to keep talking.
Did anyone talk about, because I've been reading more and more stuff about smaller districts merging athletics. Did anybody talk about that at all?
There might have been, no, none of the sessions I went to. I didn't go to a session on athletics, and I'm not even sure. I'd have to take a look to even see if that was in the program.
I thought I'd hear or see something. Because it seems like a lot more districts, just for some reason, numbers are down in general.
Right, in general.
And a lot of districts are, again, the smaller ones, Arlington, Wappingers don't really count, but
Yeah.
The smaller districts having to merge, Pine Plain and Dover. You could talk, so I was just curious if anybody
Yeah.
put that together, any thoughts on it?
And I'll have to look, because for those of us that attended, I think we might have access to the talks digitally for short term. So I'll look into that and get back to you.
All right.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you.
Chris. All right, let's see. These are, so I can actually, what's that?
I'm waiting to be called.
Hey, Chris.
I just wanted to, on November 13th in Brewster, the Lower Hudson Education Coalition is having their 48th annual regional dinner. It's for board members and superintendents. It's all about AI this year, the uniquely human advantage, preparing today's students for success in the age of AI. So I plan on attending. So I'm not sure if anyone else is.
Yeah, I'm at the legislative meeting up in Albany that day. So I would love it if someone did attend, because I wouldn't be able to be there.
Just make sure when you, this is about approaching the turn off, slow down. Anyway, all right, anything else? All right, let's see here. Superintendent.
Yes. So good evening, everyone. We have been well underway with our walkthroughs and observations throughout the district, primarily starting with some of our newer teachers and untenured teachers as they have more observations throughout the school year. So we've started there. We've been in classrooms. We've been looking at student engagement and the thoughtful planning process in a wide variety of different classroom settings. At this point, we've been in every single building. And so we're able to look as an admin team on some trends that we're seeing and target professional development throughout the school year. Also, the teachers at Alden have been working with the math and ELA coaches. Just today, I was able to sit in on a workshop with Shelley Klein, who was doing some really good work with the whole faculty at Alden about, or I guess all of the classroom teachers about predictions, inferencing, and influence from text. So it was actually a really great session that I was able to see. And it's interesting to see these now when we go into do our observations. It's good to see them, you know, the teachers using their learning. So I look forward to that in our next round of observations. The third graders went on a field trip to Thompson Pond as a part of their science curriculum to explore forest, wetland, and meadows, and having those conversations about the differences. And they enjoyed the natural habitat and discussed ecosystems and a bunch of different things that are related to their curriculum. So that's exciting for the kiddos every year. Students at our high school participated in PSAT testing on October 30th. So thank you to our school counselors for their work in coordinating the testing and the flexibility of the building. We're one of the few schools that has everybody in when they're doing that. Not everybody brings in their whole population. Some schools delay and all different models. So it takes some flexibility on the part of staff to have all of that while the rest of the building is kind of going about a regular school day. One of the things that I'm really proud of this year is how Mr. Gilroy is doing so very much in terms of his role as the Dean of Students. He's working with restorative practices and helping students be reflective and accountable and work through shared problem solving. A lot of times we know that when students exhibit, misbehavior or behavior that's not necessarily pro-social, a lot of times it's because there's demands being placed on them. They don't have the skills to navigate the, whatever situation. And so sometimes their behaviors come out in ways that aren't necessarily very impressive to those around them. And so Mr. Gilroy is working really hard to build a positive climate and culture and work through those things with children and really close that skill gap for them so that we don't have repeated behaviors. He's been collaborating with parents and students and also faculty to promote healthy attendance. And he's primarily working at the secondary level, but I do appreciate that yesterday he and I worked together on sending a memo out to parents. As you know, with some of the what's going on within our government, there's been some holdups and freezes and some funding that parents and families rely on. So thank you to Ms. Pulver, who actually gave us a list of the food pantries in the area. And Jack put some other information together from different sources and just made it available to families. We've had an overwhelmingly positive response from families in the community, just their appreciation for us acknowledging the need and just sending out the information. But also I do want to give a shout out in the community to the folks who own, and now I'm forgetting the name of it. I'll come back to that. But there is a community, a restaurant in the community and Canoe Hill, thank you. Blanking on that. Who is actually doing a weekly outreach to families with providing free food. So that is so amazing. And I think that any way in which we can support a business that is supporting our families in this way, that's so very generous. I think we should do that and they should be acknowledged. So we will be providing that information in the community backpack because our families need it so much, but thank you to Canoe Hill for doing it. The PPS office is continuing to work through communication between family and the districts and making it as consistent and as easy as possible. So one of the things that we have seen over the past couple of years really worsened during COVID and has not gotten better is everything to do with postal mail is super delayed, sometimes not arriving at all. Sometimes we get things back, sometimes we don't. Sometimes parents aren't receiving information. And from the PPS office, it's information that often is like time bound and needs to be there by a deadline. So we're working with families. We've been sending out physical letters, emails, trying to get parents to sign up for a collaboration portal. So we can instantaneously share documents in a secure portal or even secure email, but it's something that families have to opt into. So we will be sending it out in another form this coming week. Really trying to make sure that the communication that we need parents to receive is getting there. Additionally, we had some work with our ENL teachers. They've done a beautiful job of using baseline writing samples and creating specific and targeted writing goals for each of the L students that's on their caseload. Writing seems to be one of the areas in which students learning a new language, it lags, right? Speaking is often the first that we see them develop, which makes all the sense. And writing is something that lags. So now we're working with these specific targeted writing goals and then working on ways to progress monitor as well. And then just any of the families who are out there that have students in ENL programming can also look out for a specific targeted ENL progress report in the students report card this year. I want to give a big shout out to our Blue Ribbon Blazer for the month of October, Jen Cardinal from First Student. She is our location manager and she is such an unbelievable resource to the district. We call her with a moment's notice and she is able to what seems like pull a rabbit out of a hat with, like Chris had mentioned, we don't have additional resources to provide her. We just constantly call her with needs and she somehow makes all of these things happen for us. And she does it with a smile and she's like so very collaborative. So we wanted to honor her, even though she doesn't work within the confines of our building, she impacts the work that we do every single day. Thank you to Deputy Freer, local police and fire department as well for keeping our kiddos safe during the Halloween parade last week. The kids were so cute. The costumes were absolutely just the most adorable thing as they went on their little way down Franklin and to little businesses and really seemed to have a good time. I'm actually not sure who had more fun, the adults watching them be so adorable or the kids, but either way, it was great. And the middle school students with their costume contest and parade was absolutely adorable in the beginning of the day as well. So there were some really creative ones, some throwbacks that I don't even know how these kids know, like Hans and Franz. Absolutely hysterical. So there was like so many of them that were just really great. And it was lots of fun to watch the kids enjoy it. We have parent-teacher conferences coming up on the 19th and 20th. Teachers are busy gathering all the data so that they can share information about students. So if you have not done that, please make sure that you reach out to your child's building and sign up. Although I do believe that teachers have also been reaching out to families to try and encourage that. As well, while you are here for parent-teacher conferences, we will have a giving tree. It's a meaningful tradition here in Millbrook. We know that there are many families who are in need, and so families who have extra to share and or staff members, please think of taking a leaf from the giving tree and providing something that the other students and families may really need this holiday season. We have a couple of other things going on, fundraising efforts for the Washington trip. We had Emily Grassler, who is an alumni, visit and meet with the 11th and 12th graders on Halloween about service academy options for post-graduation. She's at the Merchant Marine Academy, so she is working on building leadership skills and others. So thank you to Emily. And then one thing that I'm super excited about is Elliot and I are working with Day Automation, which is one of the leading brand, I guess, companies, brand, how do you want to say, within school security. We are looking to leverage some of our Smart Schools Bond Act funding, which can be targeted for these types of school improvements to improve and enhance our access controls, our video management system, et cetera, et cetera. So we will fine tune those plans and continue to keep the board updated on that. But we're pretty excited about all that. And then I have some upcoming dates there for you to share. Any questions?
Do you have the details behind the Veterans Day, just so that we can sort of, make sure everybody that might listen to this has it?
I
What time
do.
it starts, what, and all that?
I do. It is on the 10th. My computer has shut down. Amy, do you have that more
Yeah.
rapidly?
It will start on Monday morning at 8 a.m. So what they have set up is that the cafeteria will be decorated and ready for breakfast to welcome all of the veterans. They have greeting cards that each of the students, not just in this building, but across have made. And we'll have those there as the veterans are eating. Students will then have the opportunity to rotate to each of the tables just to learn more about the level, the branch of service that they were in and their experiences. Then magically, all of the students will be, well, I'm gonna pause because now we don't have the auditorium and I don't know where they're going either. They will be going, probably at the high school. I have to think about that part, but, they are greeted and, welcomed so that the veterans can, have the opportunity. Students have created questions to ask each of the veterans. So if you have someone, thank you. It's in the gymnasium, thank you. So our veterans will be up there, so we'll just have to walk them up the stairs, but usually it's in the auditorium, but with that being closed, we don't have that luxury. But the best part is all of our students, whichever location, now the gymnasium they will be in. When the veterans walk in, there's this wonderful roar of appreciation from all of the students as they come in. They'll be seated and then they'll have the opportunity to have students who have submitted questions ask those to each of the veterans and then they can respond. So it's a great day, but it starts at 8 o'clock in the cafeteria for the breakfast.
Middle school cafeteria.
Middle school cafeteria, yep, and then I'll go to the middle school gymnasium just because the auditorium is closed.
Very good, thanks. Ed.
Mhm.
So when you say walk them up, I'm imagining outside, just in case some of the veterans.
So previously, when it's gone to
Yeah.
the auditorium, they walk down the stairs, so they can have a choice of either going around or up the stairs to get to, it's further to walk to go all the way around than it is to walk
Yeah.
the stairs. We could try out one of the stair lifters.
I just want to make sure, do you think we could possibly have a couple extra wheelchairs in case?
Well, we have the carts.
But we have the stair cart.
Well, no, we also have the carts, the actual gators, like if we need to drive them up the hill.
Oh,
we can drive them up.
right, okay, got you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If one thing I can say
You're
for
right.
certain, while we're thinking of things, I am absolutely positive Mr. Carbone has thought about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's
I'm
not,
sure.
not a doubt in my mind that he's already like crossed every I, dotted every I and crossed every T. So he thinks of everything. So, yeah, it's gonna be a great day.
One other thing personally, the letter that went out from Mr. Gilroy about the food. Not only, I was so happy to see not only the content of it, but the tone of it. It was very, and hopefully it was very calming, and there's gotta be people that are worried about it, trying to figure out, alternate plans and just to get that email, I thought it was very professional and very calming. I just want to compliment it on him and you on that.
Thank you. I'll let him know for sure.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, Caroline.
Mhm. And then we have here next,
Oh, yeah.
we have Mr. Cabello's report. He was planning to be here. But due to a medical issue, he could not be. So he did try to come back and we said, you go home. So that's all there. If you have any questions, I can certainly try to answer them or I can have him provide an answer back to the board.
Anybody have anything on middle school? Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah,
Oh, I gotta go back to your report. The dance. Did I see something about a dance?
my guess would be it
There
is
was.
in
For the
Steve's report.
Right.
Where did I see it? Now I'm
Middle.
totally,
It,
I think it was to help like raise money for the 8th grade trip.
Yep. Oh, that's in Jack's report. Yep, December
Oh, okay.
19th. Oh, sorry, that was, Jack is working with fundraising efforts for Washington DC, so that's underway. And one of the things that they're doing is hosting a dance on December 19th with proceeds to help offset the cost of the trip for families. Sorry.
Okay. No, I knew I couldn't find it either. Is that just for the 8th grade, the dance?
No, that's just who's benefiting from it.
Okay. Okay. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, now to one of our favorite interludes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Facility staff continue to monitor the roofs for any leaks. Which means we're getting up on the roofs, we're checking the drains, we're making sure the drains are all clear so we don't get any puddling up there, which will increase the risk of having any leaks. So we're up there at least once a week, and before any rainstorms, we get up there the day before. At the high school, we coordinated with the art teacher, Mrs. Green, for the students to paint the annual mural for homecoming, and we helped with the painting of the senior parking spots, which looked really great. I drove in, there was a million cones up the hill. They did it on a Saturday, so Friday we were out there blowing the spots off, coning them off. And then we met Mrs. Matz Saturday morning. We had guys out there blowing up the spots again, and then the parents came, I guess, with the kids, and they did an amazing job. And if anybody has any questions on anything else on the report?
Okay, thank you, John. All right. Business and personnel.
All right, good evening, everybody. Just a couple of quick notes from our side of the house, not a whole lot to share, but we wanted to let the board know that our corrective action plan for the 25 audit was submitted and has been accepted by NYSED. We had two items to address. One of them was to make sure our corrective action plan is posted on the website, and it is. So that one's been resolved. The second one is about fund balance management. We've talked with the board about our plans for this year in the different approaches or options we have to deal with our minor fund balance excess this current fiscal year. While Mr. Mullins is making his way out, I just want to again thank the team. We had some pretty heavy rains in the last couple of weeks, and our facility staff, I think at most there was 4 hours that the district was not occupied from the overnight wraparound to the morning. So these guys are staying late, coming in extra early, checking in with the administration as early as 5 a.m. to make sure that we're ready to occupy the building for the school day. So there's a whole lot of effort and labor going into this work, and we appreciate it, John. Thank you to you and your team. Very much appreciated. And again, just because our capital projects have been approved doesn't mean that the problems are solved. We still have a couple of years worth of stopgap measures to entertain, and John and his team are doing a great job of that. I just wanted to give the board an update. There's been some buzz around zero emission bus regulations and the laws that are forthcoming. I was down in Westchester a couple weeks ago for a regional forum on zero emission busing. To be quite frank, there's not a ton of options available for fully contracted districts such as ourselves. There were some folks that are in similar situations in the room voicing these concerns. Representatives from the state government and NYSERDA have heard us. I don't know that there is a resolution on the horizon for us yet, but we are still going through all the motions as required. So the first step for us is to get our fleet electrification plan fully completed. We're using a third-party contractor called INF to do that for us. They've been interfacing with First Student, our contractor, and NYSERDA as well to get that funded. That's like 75% grant funded. So we do have some skin in the game, but most of it's being handled by them. What they're going to do is they're going to look at our routing schedule. They're going to look at our home to school routes for both main campus and place students, as well as private and parochials that we're required to transport by law. And they're going to tell us what it requires to have a fully electric fleet, if at all possible. So they'll identify any routes that cannot be handled with the present technology of the zero emission buses available. They may tell us that our 9 home to school routes for primary and secondary may have to tick up to 11 or 12, or they may tell us we need additional buses. We don't really know. There are other considerations in play, such as the capital improvements needed to the bus facility for charging purposes. We would need to bring in a significant amount of power to that location. We do not own that site. It is currently owned and operated by the contractors. And so there's just another little bit of a hurdle that we're going to have to deal with as these laws come into play. For those that may not be familiar, the laws as they currently stand is that by 2027 or after 2027, only zero emission buses can be purchased. And by 2035, all fleets must be fully converted. There are opportunities to request extensions on the 2027 deadline, which it may behoove us to entertain. We're going to be able to make decisions on that based on the completed fleet electrification plan. An additional issue that we have to deal with is that our current contract with First Student is through the 27-28 school year. which means either whether or not we extend that contract through mutual negotiations with First Student, or we go out for another bid, the next contract is going to have provisions for the purchases of buses, which currently cost 300 to 400% more than the buses that we currently operate. So we're going to talk a lot about the possible financial hurdles of the next budget cycle and then the ones that are following. And then Carolyn and I have been talking about not just next year's budget, but the next 2 to 3 years worth of budgets, because there's going to be a cascading effect and transportation is going to be a big part of it. So our team has worked really hard to optimize our recent state aid for our transportation. We resubmitted our contract information for the last 3 years, trying to get every dollar we can from the state that's owed to us. But as we move into the next 2 fiscal years, we're going to have to really be mindful of whether or not we can meet that 2027 regulation, or if it'll behoove us to request an extension. We do know that there's at least one other district in northern Dutchess County that has completed their fleet electrification plan. And as of less than 12 months ago, 30% of their routes could be electrified, and 2/3 of their routes do not meet the requirements for electrification. And at that time, the state's response was, great, start with that third and we'll work on the other 2/3. And that's a nice thing to say, but it's not great for planning long-term financials. So there are some concerns about the expense we're going to have to lay out, the expense that's going to be put on us by our contractor, whether it's First Student or we go back out to bid. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but I just wanted to share with the board that we are well aware of the challenges. We are complying with the regulations and we're moving forward as best we can with the process.
Us meeting with taxpayers and with a 2% cap. I mean,
Well-
good luck, but there is hope and there is a new day, because there will be an election next year for governor.
Yeah, and so I think it's also, this is one forum which is conversations happening. I will say, that Senator Mayer, Shelley Mayer was
Yes.
there. She's the chair of the Education Committee. And I think I was on a call today in which the conversation, right, keeps going. So this happened a couple weeks ago. Now I was on a call today with the Legislative Committee and talking about this exact issue. And like, I think that they're finally hearing that this is actually not possible, right? Like, so in terms of the electrical grid, some of these schools electrifying their buses actually will drain as much energy as like an airport, right? So, and I'm not even talking about the biggest of the big districts. I'm talking about a normal size, bigger district kind of thing, not like in Arlington or Wappingers, like, one of the districts down in Rockland County. They're literally being compared to an airport in terms of the amount of energy it's going to take to electrify their entire fleet. So I think that having that forum extremely powerful. As of right now, they seem to have zero interest in completely repealing. But the conversation is ongoing, and I know that when I go up to Albany for legislative next week, this will be another item on the agenda. So we're all talking about it. It's just a matter of where it's gonna land.
Did anybody talk about what happens? We can do all this stuff, put a plan in place, we can get, all the free money, we can do all, and then the voters vote it down. And
Yeah, so-
what are they gonna do, sue us?
Well, so here's the more interesting problem. Part of the Legislative Committee, part of the Lower Hudson Education Coalition, which is another group that I'm on the board for, and the Lower Hudson Council. These are all conversations that are happening. The fear with going after that aspect of it is if we take away voter approval, we just have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Right? If the voters say no, and they don't authorize us to spend their money in that way, well, I don't know. We're gonna, I guess,
Right, well,
we'll
that's
have to figure out what to do then, right?
Well, that's
But
why, I mean, Hyde Park basically, and for that one bus, had everything in place,
Yep.
all the money,
Yep.
grants, all that stuff, and the voters said, no.
Well, because I think the reality is bus or no bus, that's not where the issue stops. Right? Because then you're talking about, can the electrical grid even
Yeah.
support it? Do they have the infrastructure in the roads? Like our roads, some of our roads would not be able to support these buses. They're too heavy. Do they have the mechanical, lifts and everything, the buses being heavier? Can they even service these buses? So it's not you know, the purchase of the bus, like Elliot said, we're talking 300 to 400% increase over the price of a regular, you know, combustion engine, but the reality is that that's not where these expenses or concerns stop. It's barely even where they start, really. And so I think that is why it is taking up so much time and conversation in all of these places, but the reality is, I think it may just fall and like crumble under its own weight. I don't see how it happens.
One of the problems that we face that's different from your reference to the Hyde Park one is that Hyde Park owns and operates the vast majority of their fleet. And so their propositions are listed as capital propositions subsequent to the general fund. Our bus expenses are part and parcel to our general fund as it's a contracted service. So if our community pushes back on the electric bus cost driving up our general fund budget, their only recourse is to say no to the entire general fund budget. And then that's where, you know, a district like us that's fully contracted, that's one of the pitfalls that we face that other larger districts may not. To Caroline's point as well, our buses are not maintained here in Millbrook. They're maintained at the Dover location by and large, which is also run by First Student. So there is additional considerations for whether or not we cooperatively bid out that service again. And if we award it separately from our previous bidding partner, the whole nature of that facility is up for discussion and renovation. So much more to come. But we just wanted to touch on it today and just let the board know that we are entrenched in it, and we're going to keep coming back with more information as it becomes available. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was just our capital project. You know, we made a commitment to the board to continue providing updates. We've been in touch with our architects and construction managers this week just to make sure everything's on track. Again, I know John had stepped away, but we implemented a rule within the district that no design professionals or contractors are to be on site without the accompaniment of our mechanics or administration. So one of John or one of his senior leaders is with these designers, with these architects, with these engineers when they're on site. The obvious reason is to provide an escort so that strangers aren't wandering our buildings. But the underlying reason as well is that we want our people interfacing with the design professionals throughout the preliminary stages so that when they're talking about the type of equipment or where they're going to run the pipes, the question keeps coming up. How do we maintain it? If you're going to install it that way, how do we fix it? How do we take care of it? We want to make sure that our maintenance professionals are in the ground floor of these design conversations so that they're fully equipped to take care of these new systems and equipment when they come online. So as of this time, in my report, you'll see I will just continue to replicate the schedule so that it's there for the board members of the community watching. And if anything changes, we'll make sure to highlight it here. But at this time, we are on track to get our plans for phase 1A up to NYSED by the end of the calendar year in December, with hopes to go out to bid by March or thereabouts. And a tentative construction period starting in summer of 26. Phase 1B, we're hoping to get the design completed by March and get that out to bid within 90 days after that. And phase 2 will follow the following year. So as we've been asked, are we still on schedule? Yes. Are we still within budget? To the best that we know of right now, we're just in preliminary design. But with tonight's acceptance of the letter of intent for the Trane Technologies EPC, that is the fourth and final piece of our design team that will be under contract with the district to make sure that the wheels keep turning as they need to. That's what I got. Any questions?
Thank you.
We haven't gotten anything informal back from SED, right?
In terms of the project or?
Yeah, well, like that, they realize we're moving forward with it.
Oh, yeah, our projects are registered with SED. So the first step in the process is to, what used to be called filing a letter of intent with the state. Now it's a digital format. They finally upgraded their system since 1987. They were using the same system until June of 25. So that was exciting for us. We got to file it online for the first time. But phase 1A and 1B have already been filed with the state, so that we have project numbers ID'd, a project manager assigned by state ed. So they are ready and waiting for our paperwork.
Anything else for Elliot? Okay, Amy?
Sure. So the majority of my report is focused on the community relations aspect. I wanted to remind all of our listeners, tomorrow College 101 is back with Stephanie Morrow. She is going to be doing this virtually. Yesterday, I did send out an email to all families in 10th and 11th and 12th grade just to make sure that they got it. It actually has the Zoom link, because I know sometimes signing up and making sure is a one more step. So I just was like, here you go. And then I'll send another reminder tomorrow, hopefully, just to get a few more. We do have 3 parents that have signed up, so it's virtual, so please join us at 6:30 to learn about the process in general. Even if you don't have a child registering for college right now, it's a great thing to just try to get your head around it, and it's free. Also, just to note the new date for Sky Schools. Sky Schools didn't have anyone register, so we worked with them since they will be with our middle school students in December. We moved the timing around a little bit, and they will be with our middle school students working. The hopes and intent is the students coming home to talk about the types of wellness and breathing activities that they're doing in the PE classes at the middle school will inspire their parents to sign up, even though it is in December, but giving them a full month in advance, month and a half in advance. Hopefully more people will come in attendance just to learn about what their children did, but as well as providing them with some successful techniques to use to help manage stress and emotions. So we hope parents will sign up for that. I included some last minute offerings on continuing ed. So I wanted to share those in case anyone is interested. June Glasson's Creative Soul class is this Saturday, I believe. In addition to having the journaling and some the CPR class, and also the 5-hour driving class. So click on our website to find out more information on that. I also will be posting on our flyers page on the website. Millbrook Listens is having a listening tour of sorts. Not really a tour. They're going to be at the Millbrook Library, but 3 different dates that they'll be doing sessions. They're about an hour long each at the library. So it's on November 17th, 19th, and December 10th. I will have that, as I said, on the community flyers page. This is an opportunity for you to share some ideas on what a project might be to prioritize and help improve the town to make it healthier and more resilient. So just sharing that information. And then finally, today was a very robust, unbiased, but robust superintendent's conference day. It was very diversified to the needs of our staff. We had our consultants, both at the K-5 level and 6-12 literacy consultants, back working with them, as Caroline mentioned, at the high school. Our teachers, as Mr. Rosenberg had asked about AI, they had the opportunity to work further with our technology integrator on the AI tools, specifically around writing, to allow students not to rewrite their paper, but actually review their paper and give them some suggestions, like check your hook and see about the clarity of your message. Who is your audience? So it's really helping them to zero in on the components of their writing that they could improve. So time was spent on that. I'm very excited that in December, we are going to be filing for the Seal of Biliteracy. We have 8 students right now that we're targeting to get their Seal of Biliteracy. Hats off to Ms. Harb and Mr. Gelhoff. They have really taken on a lot of work, and I really appreciate their effort on this and look forward to our students who are really excited. We have one who is seeking Russian, another in Ga, and Spanish and French. So some very exciting things happening. So more to come on that. And then you can just see further continuation of where our staff was around, in addition to our nurses traveled to Arlington for a regional conference that was had by them. And all of our TAs continued their training in crisis prevention today at the middle school. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. A question in general, Caroline. Did we have anybody, or is anybody sort of watching this, the project at Hitchcock? You know, there was a proposal went forward to basically redevelop or actually develop the majority of Hitchcock's estate. it sounds an awful lot like what went into Amenia. Sagala, is that what that's called?
Silo Ranch.
Silo Ridge.
I haven't heard anything about it other than the conversation you and I had.
Planning board, I think it went to the planning board. I don't know how it ended up, but there's a lot of homes they were talking about, a lot of, where you would need a lot of workers. And I don't know what kind of impact that would have on the village, or on the school district. But it might be something, if we can get someone to just touch base
Do we
with.
know, is it the same construction company?
I don't know. All I saw was the first announcement on, that they were gonna have this public hearing.
Yes.
But I haven't heard any more since then.
Centaur.
But it would be, even if it's just a matter of having somebody paying attention, because if it means a ton of kids coming into our school, great. If it means, an impact to our transportation, so just so that we know, like, if they don't spring it on us, the bulldozers are coming in tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, we can reach out and just see if there's any, we can just put that, yeah. We can reach out and see if there's any updates.
Yeah, and just, like I said, when there are, I would assume there'll be ongoing reviews of this stuff.
Yeah.
Just somebody that, oh yeah, they did have that meeting last night and they shut it down, or they moved it forward, or just somebody that can, keep track of it.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for anybody? All right. Okay, we have a motion to accept the donation from Michael and Mary Jo DeVos.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Comments, questions? Thank you.
Thank you. It's very nice.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay, and future agenda items, if you have any comments. Public comments?
No.
All right. We have, do I have a motion to go to executive session?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Before we go to executive session, just want to remind everybody that we will, we kind of go offline, but when we come back, there may still be actions we have to take based on what was discussed in the executive session. So just a reminder that the meeting is not over just because we go to executive session. With that, all in favor? Any against? All right. Cool. 5 minutes, anybody? Everybody?
All right, sorry, it's making me click all these things so that I can get the camera and the voice and everything, sorry. Yes. Thank you.
Probably we got.
Good. All right, welcome back. Got a couple of, actually four actions to take. First is, the approval of, labor co-curricular appointments. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Appoint, deputy district clerk. Do I have a motion? Of a second?
Howard.
Questions? Comments?
Not the next one.
Anything? Anything, Jen? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Third is the MOA for the ENL teachers. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Gotcha.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, last is the revised legal services retainer. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Comments? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, and do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, thank you, everybody.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Did you win?
Get home safe.